Good morning. Today we are looking at packet number 2. It is due on October 15th, so that Tuesday right before MEA. Remember, if you give me your packet before then, before the Friday before it's due, I will star the pages you have right, and I will give you back pages that you need to correct, and you'll have the opportunity to fix up your mistakes. Ask me questions if you have questions on it. Okay, turning it in early is always a good idea, because then you can fix those mistakes and work towards getting 100% on that packet. But it has to be in that Friday before it's due, so, October 11th, we would need it by. Our first page, the zero longitude line runs through Greenwich, England. For each 15 degrees east of it, time advances 1 hour. At noon in Greenwich, what time is it in Manila, Philippines, if its longitude is about 120 degrees east? When I get word problems like this, I like to use pictures to help me solve it. Okay? It's totally fine to draw things out, put down the information that you know into your picture, and help you find what you don't know. Longitude lines run up and down on our globe. So I'm going to draw that longitude line going up and down. I know it is 0 degrees in Greenwich. Right? So 0 degrees in Greenwich. Then every 15 degrees east, which way am I going to go if I'm going east? Do I go to the left or to the right? Emma? Yeah, because on our map, north is up, south is down, west, east. So we're going to the right towards the east. So I'm going to do 15 degrees. How much time has passed? Adeline? 1 hour. So then, what do you think I'm going to put from my next longitude line? How many degrees do you think it would be? Careful. It's every 15 degrees. Hudson? 30. 30. 0, 15, 30. So I'm going to be adding those 15 degrees every time I go to the right. What am I going to be adding on the bottom for our time? Lila?
An hour.
An hour. So now I'll be at 2 hours. You're going to continue this until you get to 120 degrees, and you'll see what hour you are at. So if it says at noon in Greenwich, so it's 12 o'clock here. If I add an hour on to 12 o'clock p.m., because that's what noon is, 12 o'clock p.m., what time is it 15 degrees later? I add that hour on, and it would be 1 p.m. Then it would be 2 p.m. I'm going to keep adding that hour on the bottom, and I'm going to see what hour we are at when we make our way up to that 120 degrees. Does that make sense? Okay, let's look at our next page. I need to go over here to scroll up. Sarah has party, holiday, bridal shower, and wedding invitations. So, Sarah, have you become a big party planner? We didn't know about it? Oh my goodness, you better start inviting us to all these parties. I did not make these questions up. You can talk to Mr. Schultz about that. All right, so she has blue, yellow, and red envelopes for all of these invitations. How many different invitation and envelope combinations are there? So, I would put up your party, holiday, bridal shower, and wedding. How many different colored envelopes go underneath the party? What are our choices? Three, because I have blue, yellow, and red. How many choice envelopes do I have for holiday? Evelyn? Blue, yellow, red. Same choices. Same thing for the bridal, same thing for the, oh, I spelled wedding wrong. Same thing for the wedding. Then you count up how many options there are all together. So you're going to fill the rest in. I'm not doing all the work for you. You're going to fill the rest in. How many envelope choices for each of our party invitations, or each of our, different types of party invitations. Count up how many choices there are altogether. There is mathy ways to do this also. If you know how to do it with the math of it, you have to write it out so I know what you did. You can't just give me a number. You have to tell me why your answer makes sense. If you write it all out like this, you would just point an arrow to it so I know what you did to come up with your answer. Okay? Any questions on this page? All right. Our next page is that 5-card challenge. Same rules as packet number 1. So we're going to review those rules because some of us forgot it when we were working on our packet. First thing, for Math 6, you have to have at least 12 points. You can have more. That comparison symbol is greater than or equal to 12. So you can have 12 points, you can have a lot more than 12 points. We can only use the top 5 cards in our equations. It equals the 10. You cannot use that 10 inside your equation. It has to equal 10. You can only use each of these cards one time in your equation because it's just in there one time. So you can only have a 5 one time in the equation. You can't say 5 plus 5 equals 10 because we only have one 5. You can do adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We must remember the order of operations. Remember, you can use parentheses. So if you want to add before you multiply, put parentheses around it. Okay? So you can use those parentheses. You can use that too as an exponent. We learned about exponents. So if you want to say 5 squared, you could do that. And that square, that 2 up on top, counts as a card being used. So if I did 5 squared, that would equal what? What is 5 squared? It's not 5 times 2. Lila? 25, because it's 5 times 5. We have it 2 times there. 5 times 5 is 25. What other cards could I use to get my answer down to 10? James?
6 plus 5 plus 8 minus 7 minus 2 plus 10.
So I'm working on this one right now. You came up with a different one. I'm trying to finish this one up. If I'm at 25 and I want to get down to 10, how much would I have to subtract? Emma?
You could subtract 8, and then
So that puts me at 17,
subtract 7.
and then I could subtract 7. So I could have 25 minus 8 minus 7, because 8 and 7 is 15. So basically what I'm saying is that 25 minus 15 equals 10. How many points would that be worth? Hudson? 4. 4, because I used 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Okay. So I got you started off here. There are simpler ones you can do. There's more complicated ones you can do. I wanted us to see how those order of operations, you know so many orders of operation that we just covered it in our objective 10. Use it. Adeline?
So we can use that.
So you need to get up to, 12, at least. One thing that some of us are doing that we need to remember we can't do is, let's say we did 7 plus 6. Let's just pretend that equals what we want it to. You can't then turn around and do 6 plus 7. It's the same math. Each equation has to be different math. So you can't do that. I would only count one of those. You can't just rearrange the order of it and call it done when the math all stays the same. Does that make sense? All right. Next page. Now, on your printout, I use the black and white machine because it staples for me. Because you don't really need to have the colors on your page. The directions say for Math 6, complete the table for the number of yellow blocks. The yellow blocks on your paper would be the white ones. So we need to know which ones are the yellow. It's very clear in the black and white version that the yellow is white. Okay, so we're going to first figure out the whole table for the yellow blocks, then we'll talk about the whole table for the total blocks. So let's look at our yellow blocks. How many yellow blocks are in figure 1? James?
1.
How many in figure 2, Emma?
1.
How many in figure 3? Adeline?
1.
How many in figure 4, Kylie?
3.
Now, I don't have anything else up there. I need to decide what's my pattern. I might not necessarily know that pattern right away. I see 1, 1, 1, then I see 3. I'm going to say, okay, we have a yellow, then we had blue, then we had pink, then we had yellow. So I had yellow, and yellow, and yellow. Now for figure 5, I'm going to add 2 more blocks. Well, if this was blue, and this was pink, and then yellow, what color am I going to be adding on, Bennett?
Blue.
I'm going to, after the yellow, I add on blues. So how many yellows are going to be in figure 5? Emma? 3. I'm going to follow that same pattern for figure 6. How many yellows are going to be in figure 6? Sarah?
3.
And then I'm going to come to figure 7. What color am I adding on to figure 7? Adeline? Yeah, I'm back to adding on some yellow. So I'm going to, for figure 7, how many yellow will there be? You're going to complete that pattern. Okay, I'm not putting everything on the board because you have to be writing it. The second part says total blocks. So I need to do the yellow blocks and then I need to do the total blocks. How many total blocks are in figure 1? Liam? How many in figure 2? Emma?
3.
How many in figure 3? Lila?
5.
How many in figure 4? Eden? 1, 3, 5, 7. Can we follow that pattern down? Okay. Follow your pattern down. That one's an easier pattern to follow. 1, 3, 5, 7. We know our odd numbers. Skip them by 2. Complete that pattern. All right, next page. Find the perimeter and area of the figure. All work must be shown. We can't just do mental math with it. We have to show what work we're doing. How do we find the perimeter of a figure? James?
We said length, length plus width plus length plus width,
What if there's more sides than just four?
or length times width.
Kylie? You add all the sides, so you are on the right track, but any shape, we find the perimeter, we're just adding all the sides. It could be a star shape. You add every single side. Do we have to do anything special to this shape to find the perimeter? No. All the sides are labeled. So you're going to add all the sides. That's the easy part. The area gets a little trickier. Is that a regular shape? No. It's not a square, it's not a rectangle, it's not a triangle. Oh goodness. What should I do when I have a goofy shape? Adeline? Split it into shapes so that I do know how to find the area of. When I look at this shape, I say, hey, look, there's a rectangle and a triangle. I can find the area of rectangles and I can find the area of triangles. What is my formula to find the area of a rectangle? Lila? Length times width. Length times width. That will give me the area of my rectangle. If the top part of the rectangle is 3 feet, how much is my bottom part of the rectangle? James?
3.
3 feet. If it's 6 feet altogether, how much is the bottom of my triangle? Kylie? 3 feet. Because 3 feet plus 3 feet equals that 6 feet total. How much is the height of my triangle? Emma? 4 feet. It's the same as the opposite side. So my height is 4 feet. Let me write it on this side so it's. Who knows what the formula is to find the area of a triangle? James?
Multiply 15 times 5.
What's the formula? The formula for the rectangle is length times width. So what do I do to find the triangle? Do you know, Adeline?
It's like height times
Keep thinking about it. Do you know, Sarah?
height times base.
Close.
Length times width.
Nope, that's for volume. Lila? So we have our base, that's the bottom, so that is part of it. We have the height going up. But that kind of looks like it's my square, that rectangle, length times width, base times height, but it's a triangle. It's half the size of my rectangle. So what do I have to do with that? If a triangle is half of a rectangle, what am I gonna do? James? Aiden? I'm gonna divide it by 2. So sometimes we could write it that way, sometimes we could say 1/2 of that base times the height. Because base times height is like the length times the width, but a triangle is half of a rectangle, so we have to divide it by 2. So you're going to do your base times your height, divide it by 2 for that area. Then you add your 2 areas together for the full area of the figure. Okay? Let's look at our next page. Now we have a rectangular prism. It says for all classes, so we all have to do this top part And then we're going to do the Math 6 question. So it says, write the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism. Emma, what was that formula for the volume?
Length times width times height.
Length times width times height. Now, last packet, it was a cube, so they were all the same number. It's not so easy this time. It's a rectangular prism, so they're different sizes. So we have our length times our width times the height. So the calculation we're going to perform is we're going to put those numbers in for the letters. So my length is 3 times my width of 4 times my height of 5. I have to actually do the math to know what the volume is. So I have to, in my calculator, say what is 3 times 4 times 5. I'm going to put that right there. These are all centimeters, and I multiplied 3 centimeters, so my measurement would be centimeters cubed. Centimeters with the 3 as the exponent. Then my question is, what is the sum of the figure's edges? Nope, sorry, that was pre-algebra. Math 6 is, what is the area of the largest face of the figure? Who remembers what the face is? That was on our last packet. What is the face? Maddie?
A side.
A side. So look, we have 3 different sides. We have the ends, we have those 2 sides, and we have the top and the bottom. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to find the area of that bottom. I'm going to find the area of the ends, and I'm going to find the area of a side. And you're going to write down for your answer which one was the biggest area. There are 3 side shapes, sizes. Figure out which one's the biggest one and write it on the line. You're going to have to show me your work. So don't just say, I'm going to multiply 3 times 4, and I'm going to multiply 4 times 5, and then I'm going to multiply 5 times 3. You have to show it. The 3 different sides, write them out. I'm multiplying 3 times 4 for that bottom. Then I'm going to multiply 3 times 5 for the other face. Then I'm going to multiply 4 times 5 for that last face. You need to write out all 3 of those equations, what they equal, and your answer is the largest one. Does that make sense? All right, next page. Birthdays. So we're going to look at our data that's in the graph, and we're going to mark our answer clearly. So we're going to look at Math 6, and it says order the months of the year from most student birthdays to least student birthdays. So the most student birthdays is going to be our 1, the least student birthdays is going to be the 12. Maybe. We're not gonna, it actually wouldn't be 1 and 12 because there are some that tie each other. So, putting them in order, we'll start with the one that's the most. The one that's highest on the graph is June. So June would be a 1, or you could write June. But if I look at my number 2, the second highest, I see there's a tie. So they are tied for second place. If I'm writing them out, May and October, or October and May, they are tied. It doesn't matter which one you put first, which one you put second, because they're in the same place. If we are numbering it, we would number them both as 2, because they're tied for second place. Then we look for our third highest, then the fourth, fifth, sixth, so down until you have every month in order from most to least. Any questions on that? And I believe that's our last page, right? It is. So that is packet number 2. We are going to work on that today. We also have those Khan Academy assignments. If you did not complete all of the Khan Academy assignments for last week and it is listed in Blackbaud as missing, you go to Khan Academy, you go to past due assignments, and you have just this week to complete it. You have to email me if you're completing past due assignments, so I know to go and look. Because Blackbaud does not tell me when somebody does a late assignment. And you will get partial credit back for the assignments that are late. After next week, we only have 1 week to try to make up those assignments. Then your grade stays as it is. So if you didn't do any of them and you're at a 0, you'll keep that 0. So I strongly recommend you to check Blackbaud, check your past due assignments, and see if you have any to make up. Remembering that that video, if that gets shoved into past due because for whatever reason Khan Academy was being goofy and not marking the video as being watched, it's okay. I gave you credit for the video. And we will not do any more videos because I don't know why it's being wonky like that. Okay, so don't worry if the video is in the past due assignments, but all other assignments need to be completed within the week. We have new assignments today that are due Thursday night. So in class work time right now, you can work on Khan Academy, you can work on the math packet. If you are watching this from home, I hope you are well and I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.